Happy Friday. We've made it through a whole nother week, and we are here to scrap along together or scrap later or do something else while I scrapbook. All of these things totally welcome. We are going to be working with 3x4 portraits today, and I'm going to work out some sort of plan for my chapter dividers that I use throughout the month. So what breaks up January, February, March, and so on, which in previous years I've used a product that's kind of designed with that in mind, but this year I'm not. I'm using my Live the Dream collection because nobody came out with a paper collection that kind of did the whole month by month thing this year. So we're going to reinvent that in my scrapbook, but the idea is that I reinvent it once, and then for all the other months I have a plan and I can just do the same thing every time, and it makes it really easy to start each month. Right, that's enough of me. Let's look at what we have seen and made so far this month. We have got pages here. We've got, oh, is everything working here? Yep, YouTube just decided to pause my monitor. I don't know why it does that. Okay, so we did this one with one 4x6 and a little patchworked background that would not need to be patchworked because I basically cut it apart and put it back together without thinking about that. And then two 3x4s here with a square frame to put around some other things. Then this is the one that I did a week ago from the hotel room floor. No extras, just the kit, a pair of scissors, a roll of adhesive, and some journaling pens. So you do not need to do all sorts of stuff and have all sorts of things in order to scrapbook. Definitely not. So we just did this on the floor. It was fine. And then on Monday, I made up for that by spending a lot of time making this inked border. It looks really simple, but it took it's one of the lengthiest techniques I've ever shown on a live stream. So there we go. But happy with how that all came out. I love a bit of color matching embellishments to ink. So that made me really happy. That's with a single 3x4. So we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 photos for January so far, and today I have 3 that we're going to add. We're going to do the little set of Superman photos. So I have his original that he sent to me, and then when I went, I found the mural and took the same picture, and then when my mom went, we took one of her in front of it. So we have 3 generations of super people. So that's what we're going to scrapbook today with our supplies here. So I think we need to pull in definitely these blues. So we'll do the lettering with our blue stickers, but let's figure out what paper we're going to put behind all that. So full sheets I have got here somewhere. They are here. So we've got this half and half butterfly that I'm going to do next week, I think. I'm just waiting for the right photo opportunity to do that because I want to use both sides together there. Then I bought a spare of this one, so I have extra. I still have a full sheet of that. And I have this one, which I think is what we're going to work with today to do our 3 photo composition. And then we've got all of these extra pieces that we have cut into already. I'm going to just take my 2 that we haven't cut into and put them at the back. Also, my kit for next month has arrived. Has anybody else got their kit for next month all ready to go? So we're going to do this. Oh, by the way, if this is looking like I'm getting short of papers, don't forget, I also have the whole big box of Live the Dream. So I'm going to take some things from that as we run out of these, but I wanted to make sure, since that kit is going over the whole year, that I don't just focus on that. I wanted to focus on the take note stuff first. All right, so we're going to work with 3 photos on this ledger paper. That's what we're going to do today. Cool, cool? All right, let's do my little speech and get on with it. How is that focus? It is focused here, but I feel like it's a little blurry. But what's happening? Let's just refocus it a bit. I don't know if that changed anything at all. We'll see. Okay. It is like there's very little light in front of this mural, so it could just be that I'm not used to looking at photos that were taken without good lighting. All right, let's do this beach. Hi, my name's Shimelle. I teach online scrapbooking classes, design scrapbooking products, and help you use them to tell your stories in a creative way. It's not just my hobby, it is my job, and that means anytime I scrapbook on the internet, it's considered advertising, and legally I need to make sure you're aware of that. So thank you for coming to watch my #advertising. I appreciate you being here, whether you are live and chatty or quiet and watch from Tomorrowland. Craft, don't craft, thinking about coming back to craft, all of it. You want to pick up a new craft in 2026? I'm here for you. So in the description box with this video, you will find links to all sorts of different things that are relevant here. That includes the classes I teach, the products I design, and the stuff that I use here to scrap along with you. Speaking of, we have got some people who have started the year saying, oh, I watch more scrapbooking than I actually scrapbook. And we want to collectively put that right. So a reminder that you can scrapbook right along with me in real time here, whether you watch it live or whether you wait and put it on the replay and you just don't have the live chat, that's fine. Because I am scrapping while I talk to you, which means I'm going a little bit slower than I would ordinarily anyway. And if even that is too fast for you, it's okay. There's a pause button. You can rewind. So if you need to stop and go back, you can also use your screen capture on your computer or your phone. If you need to take a quick picture of where I was at any point in time, just do that and then save it so that you can come back to it. You don't need to make your pages look exactly like mine. And I very much encourage you to use the stash that you've built up rather than feeling like you have to go shopping. And I would just rather you enter 2026 feeling zero guilt about the crafty, creative content that you consume and making sure you feel like you are getting things done. So in the live chat and in the chat later, we have a very, very lighthearted accountability attitude here that if you need me to keep reminding you, hey, are you actually scrapping along? I'm here to do that, but you can also watch while you get other stuff done if you need to. All right, enough of my face. Let's scrapbook. Okay. So we have got, Georgia says 2025 is just done in her album because her album is full and she refuses to start another one. Hilarious. It is. We are halfway through January. And yes, to those who pointed out, there are new videos on Journal Your Christmas on the prompt archive on the forum. Yes. Quite a few days of entries went up yesterday. There'll be more today. Carrying on getting all of those uploaded there until you've got the whole thing of the whole album being done. Yeah. So you can watch those anytime that is convenient. And Georgia says, now I need 2026 things to start happening so that I have something to scrapbook and put in an album. Have you got the binder ready for 2026? Like, yes, this is the book I'm going to fill with important, wonderful documentation of my year. Okay, so we've got, does this one need to come down a little bit too? 3x4 photos. We need to put them in the order that they happened, from left to right. So if you haven't seen me when I scrapbooked this before, I'll show you the one from previous month. While my son is on tour, he sends back the odd selfie in funny places in the different towns that he's in. And in these first 2 cities, I've been able to then, when I've gone to see the show and had some time that I'm not at the show during the day, I've gone and found the places that he's taken these photos and taken my own. And then I messaged them to him, and it's like the most hilarious cringe thing where he's like, oh my goodness, Mother, you did not. So this makes me want to keep this up for all time and eternity. I'm just going to keep going through his selfies and recreating them. So in Cardiff, it was this Superman mural, and I also did, there's a Paddington statue inside the castle grounds. The castle was closed when my mom came to visit, so we don't have that one. But we do have the Superman who is in the shopping center that's just opposite the Wales Millennium Center if you ever need to take a Superman photo in Cardiff. So let's see. I also had this experience from Milton Keynes, which is back here. Let me show you. Da, 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 da. Where are you? Here we go. So in this one, I did it with 2 different sets. So I used the 2 shots next to each other here. And then I put just 2 more that I had done over here. But the versions of him are going to go in a divided page protector over here because he took loads of pictures on this day out where they got to go to this like sci-fi and film museum. So yeah, we'll see what pictures I get today from today's outing. All right. Okay, so we've got 3 pictures to work with here. Debbie tomorrow is starting to put an album together for her son's wedding. Fabulous. We love that. China Girl is getting better. That's good. Okay, so my plan here. I want to bring in, so this blue, and as much of this kind of as close to we have as a red in this collection here with these 3. So let's see what I can do in terms of mats. We can do, oh, I've put the whole pages here and I don't want that. I will think they're supplies and they are not supplies. Let's put them back where they go. Okay. So what do we have here? Tags, cut parts. Right, so we could use this blue. And, well, how far off is this? So it's that one. Okay, but we'll remember that that's there. None of that. None of that. We'll have none of that here. We've got a little bit of yellow there that could come in useful. These are not being useful. Oh, we have a whole die cut pack that I've been forgetting about. Let's not forget about the die cut pack. Okay, let's see what we have in here. These are all smaller than the photos, so we need to use them for layering rather than just a plain mat, but that's okay. I'm just giving myself a little reminder of what's here. We probably want that one. We definitely want that one. Let's take all these darker blue pieces. Okay, definitely those. Where did my chat go? There we are. You have made a live, Jody. Hello, hello. Oh my goodness. You've got a senior in high school, so lots to scrapbook for sure. Lauren's got a scrapbooking related injury. Oh my goodness. She has strained her bicep in her right arm from lifting heavy scrapbooks. Lauren, how big are your albums? This is what I imagine when we get people in the Facebook group who say, oh, I just have one album and I've been adding to it for, hundreds of years. You can just put hundreds of page protectors in. I'm like, can you really? At what point does that not work? Kirsty says she would never pair superheroes with flowers, so she's curious to see how that would work. Well, I love flowers plus stars together, so that's kind of what I'm thinking here. But I'm not having as much luck with the red as I thought I might, so that's slightly annoying. Okay, so if we do that one on the navy, then we could bring Oh, we could keep it all to 3 things as well. We could do a little bit of the same sort of thought as we did last time, which is matching the colors to the things. Christina, how is that even possible? Christina's little baby is 7 whole months tomorrow. 7 whole months already. I feel like she's 7 weeks, but I know that's not true, but it still feels a little bit like it. Okay, so we could have some yellow and somewhere. I'm gonna go blue, yellow, red. Okay. So I need to figure out what I can do to bring in this color. So this is the best that I have from here. Joanna has finished her Christmas journal today, and Kelly finished hers this week. Well done. Amazing. All right. I'm going to take this one for the B-side because I'm not a great lover of gingham, so I know I probably will have trouble coming to this one. So I take this one. Okay, so what do we think if we do that color? And if so, do we think yellow on the edge or in the middle? Oh, I think in the middle. Okay. Okay, so I need more to go around this one. My yellow scraps look like this. But was there any yellow in the, there's a yellow tag, but I don't want to lose that one. I like the camera. What do we got? Okay, so I might need a scrap of yellow, which I have right here. This is one of the Doodlebug backgrounds from some month. Let's see if I can do the whole photo on there. Oh goodness. Close but not quite. How annoying is that? I'm gonna do it anyway. We'll do close but not quite. Okay, let's map these. I was scrolling through my December photos last night and thinking I almost always do this. Why do I never see it coming? Like take a few of my favorites and print them at 6x8 and then just stick them in full page protectors, like at random throughout the book. Well, not quite at random, but yeah, I think I'm gonna do that because there's just a few photos where I ended up, I might have printed them at 3x4 or even smaller when I was starting or as I was going through, but now in reflection, they're my favorite shots of the whole month and I wish they were bigger. So of the whole Christmas season. So I think I'm gonna do that. Well, I go to the Good Kiosk. I pass it on Tuesdays. So I think Tuesday I shall go get some 6x8s at the Fuji kiosk and just pop them in full page protectors, front and back. I always end up loving it, so I don't know why I'm ever surprised at myself. Years ago, before I even started doing the Christmas journal in 6x8, when I did 8x8, there was one year before I had any ability to print the photos at home that I made an 8x8 page for every day and just kind of made a note of what photo was going to go there. And then at the end of the whole process, I ordered 36 8x8 prints and put them in the facing pages with nothing else. I think I had printed, because it was the time of filters and frames and things. So I think I had printed like just a simple vignette filter around the edge. So the edges were kind of darker. And I printed all of those at the full page size and just slotted them in. And I love that album to this date. So why I'm ever surprised that I like full page photos, I don't know. If it were easy to get 12x12s, just walk in and get them, I would do it in here, but I don't. Oh, Caroline, that is great info. If you have a Jessup's, she says they are going to the Fuji kiosks in store. I find that the Fuji kiosk for me is really high quality, and you can just go in and print what you want from your phone, which is great. So yeah, if you have a Jessup's and they have a Fuji one, that's a win, because the Fuji store that I go to is like a dedicated Fuji store, and I don't think that the nearby Jessup's has one, probably because the Fuji store is just there. But elsewhere, that would be great. All right, cool. Did I enjoy the Vicky album? Yes, I love the giant binders. I loved Pages a couple years back. I love Vicky's, just nice, chunky, big binder. Yes, more of that. Okay, so now, what would our ink colors be to match these three? It would be chipped sapphire and, oh, hold on. Have I still got these out from the other day? I'm looking at my desk and not seeing them and going, where did I hide them? No. Oh, yes, I did. Okay. I don't know why I did that. So chip sapphire would be the navy. And then scattered straw would be that yellow. And abandoned coral would be that one. And let's put these in the drawer, not hidden in a random place. Thank you. Why have I got a Starlight Express pin in my drawer? I do not know. Okay. So I think we do a little bit of detail with those ink colors, but what kind of inky work would I like to do? Let's do, because I've got these clouds here. I don't want to go so literal as to do a cloud stencil because the scale would be so weird, like the flowers would be gigantic and the clouds would be tiny. But I like the idea of adding that color to these three spots in kind of columns, because the ledger paper is giving us that column feel anyway. What if we just used some stenciling across there, but not clouds, like something geometric so the scale is not going to be weird with the flowers? So we could do like triangles because of that symbol. And loving this, so I'm going to keep that and get some tape to put my stencil down. And where are you? Here. Okay, so I think I need to start the inking from the lightest color, because as much as I love this brush, we're not going to be able to go from navy back to yellow and without cleaning it. So I need to finish on the navy. Okay, so I want my yellow column to be kind of here. So if I do it like this, I can sort of see where my columns are going to be. And that ledger paper has straight lines, so I'm using that to line things up. Now I have to get the photo out, I know. We can do it. All right, so we start with scattered straw. And this is the little Altenew brush that was a freebie with this month's kit, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Because I don't need one for every color. It cleans super quick and easy, but it gives me a lot of control on the stencils, even more so than a booper, actually. Don't worry, my boopers are still my beloved. But for the stencils, this is really clean and easy. So We love a useful freebie. Thanks for letting us try that. Okay, so when I'm using this, I'm not wanting to get to the square part. So I want it all faded before I get to the edges. Because the idea of using a stencil is usually for it to not look like it was stenciled. Just be like, it spontaneously created perfect triangles in the background. Yeah, make the tools less obvious. Now there are some types of stencils where it's obvious. But the idea being that it's not like a grid. Like, I don't want to see the rectangle shape at the end. No. I'm just not bothering to do this bit because that's where the photo's going. Okay, and we'll just do a couple spots where the color is a bit more intense. So we'll pick a corner and really ink that bit. Could also do this with pulling in more than one ink pad, but also you can do it with just using more ink in one area. Just do more layers of ink. It's fine. Hello, Nikki. She's distracted by life, so not scrapping along today. Do you need us to distract you from whatever the life was now? We can keep you accountable by making your plan for what you want to scrap next. Is this one that you'll want to follow along later, or are you just going to make a plan for what you want to scrap next on your own? Because Nikki is one of our live chat members who wants to make sure she scraps more this year than she watches. So see, just one ink pad, but I still get that nice variation by just putting more layers of ink into the corners. Then we're going to go over here. Now, if this photo is going there, this photo is going to go here. I'm going to bring that up a little bit, but I still want it in line with the bit I've already stenciled. And we'll go over to coral. Oh no, Nikki has had some unfun days. I'm sorry. You are welcome to be here and be doing things that are more fun. So I said I'd go higher here. I don't want to hit the top edge of those triangles. Ooh, Georgia is getting hashtag organized with these albums this year. So Georgia, for a long time, had Scrapbook. Just any page she made with whatever photos from any time just went into the album in the order that she made them. And then with time, she's decided that maybe there's some merit to the idea of keeping the album a bit more chronological so that it tells the story of life in order. And she went back and moved all her pages around, which we love a binder for being able to do that. Yeah. And then this year, she's planning to do more of a monthly divider sort of setup, like what I use, to try to make that chronological element more obvious. And I hope it helps you tell your stories. Yeah. And Mullen Scrappy is going to do something similar, more like the monthly printing system, but she's not sure about adding dividers yet. Yep, and the dividers are totally optional, so don't feel like you can't use the rest of the system without without the monthly dividers. That totally works too. And if you're like, what do you mean monthly system? So I talk a lot about my whole the way that I scrapbook my albums and how that has developed over the years in a class called This Year's Story. I also have an older one about my album philosophy called Cover to Cover, but This Year's Story is kind of where I am right now. Over the last few years, that's still really current. Okay, so I'm going to blend this out. Soften it a bit. This color is a bit more saturated, so this one blends so easily and softly, but this one is a bigger contrast to the background, so I need to blend it out a little bit more. Now, see how we've got the yellow and the coral here together. Now what I want to do is go back to my yellow. Where did I put my notebook that I was cleaning my brush on? It's here. Just make sure I don't put like a giant coral splodge onto my yellow ink pad. Right. So then I can go back to the lighter color and go across here, and it'll smooth that out. Because we love oxides for this, it's what they do so beautifully. Just soften everything in between there. You ready? Pretty! Now, I have moved the stencil ever so slightly up here, and so we get a little offset, but that doesn't bother me at all. If it does bother you, just be more careful. Okay, and then we're going to come this way. So if this photo is going here, and this photo is going here, this photo is going to end up, let me straighten this out for you again. Okay, so this photo is going to end up kind of here. All right, and now we go to that navy, the chip sapphire. Just going to get any remaining yellow off the brush so that it doesn't make it a dark green instead of a dark blue. I swear this morning I must have got moisturizer in my eye. I feel like something is stinging my eyes. What's that about? Did I line up the stencil this time? No, I did not at all. So, what did I just say? Be more careful? Yeah, be way more careful if you want it to match up, because I totally was just looking at where we were side to side and did not line up the triangles. It's okay. I might need a chip sapphire re-inker soon. I only own, oh no, I have a chip sapphire. I was going to say, I only own 2 re-inkers. Spun sugar and chip sapphire in my oxides. So yeah, I think I need to, I'm not going to do it while I'm working on this, because then you get like super ink, and I know that would be thematic, but it would not be fun. So instead I will use what's here, but I'm going to pull it out so that I re-ink it when I put it away, and then the next time I go to use it, it's going to be nice and happy. But I try to avoid re-inking in the middle of a project like this, because it will just suddenly be so inky. Yes, Georgia, I love that a lot. Georgia says her monthly dividers are going to have random photos from the month, like highlights before you get into it. And if you do Instagram, you know those little story templates that go around that are like 6 photos before this month is over, and you just put 6 photos into a grid. I love things like that, and it speaks to me on the same sort of like monthly divider thing, because it might be 6 photos that you absolutely love and you've made a 12 by 12 photo, a 12 by 12 page about every single one of those things, or it might be 6 photos that don't get 12 by 12s, that are just random things that you've loved this month. So yeah. Okay, so see how far this one went to the edge. I'm going to bring it to the edge over at the top, but not down here, because I want to go around the flowers, and hopefully that will even out the look of how far it goes to the right versus how far it goes to the left. And Nikki says, She's looking forward to seeing monthly dividers. She's like Georgia and tends to find a photo, scrap it, stick it in the album, and move on. Oh, so like Georgia's old plan when it wasn't in chronological order? Or are you putting it into a book for this year? I will never stop saying that I love the binder system, the 3-ring binder or variations on that where you have top loading page protectors and it's really easy to move things around. Every time on the Facebook group that there's any discussion about albums, we get a lot of people who are really, really happy with their album system, which is great, but the thing they're using to qualify that is it has a lifetime guarantee. Okay. And I've had books like this and they've lasted a long time. And those are both great things. However, not having any flexibility to me is a big drawback in that you have to make your decision once when you first start, and then it's very challenging to make changes later on. When I think the bit that makes me nervous is that whenever we get somebody saying like, this is the only album in the industry that is guaranteed for life, or this is the only album that will do this, there's nothing that's the only album, and that's sales talk, and I don't love it. There are so many options, and yeah, I just don't. I'm not comfortable with anybody in the industry being like, the only way you can do. No, there's nothing that's only about this whole thing. So I love the album system that I use, but it's not the only way. And anybody who comes in and says, this is the only one you should consider, no, that's not it. I don't love that. So please do think about what works for you. And if categorizing by the order that you make it makes you happy, then do that, because you will see this different kind of progression. You will see the progression you make as a crafter, and that will be exciting too. Now, you know what's kind of funny is now it kind of looks like a flag. Like we've made a flag for a country that has blue, yellow, coral. But anyway, so yes, Nikki says she's currently like old Georgia, not new Georgia, which is hilarious. Oh, what did I say? I'm going to re-ink it. Let's re-ink it. Hey, have you ever re-inked a distressed oxide? Let's do it. So just like the ink pad in the re-inker, we need to make things mixed up a little bit. So shake and roll. Just like you want to mix up the ink pad, you want to mix up the re-inker too. Okay, then I don't know where this came from, but this is how I do it. A circle and an X. That's how much I squeeze. And then I'm not squeezing here. I'm just spreading it out. Okay? I'm not adding more ink than what I've already put down. I re-ink with the circle and the squeeze. The circle and the square. That's it. Why can I not talk? Circle, X, like X and O. That's it. And then just take it so it goes across the whole ink pad. And this is just gently because you don't want to like scratch up the top of the ink pad or anything like that. And it's going to look like this where there's ink sitting on top. You're going to make sure it's sitting flat. I don't put it back into my sideways drawer like this. And then just leave it. If you remind me and I remember, I'll take the lid off at the end and you'll see that it's not all wet and shiny anymore. But that's why I wouldn't re-ink it while I was working with it, because that's what would have happened. It would have been like ink everywhere. All right. Oh, Kirsty has decided to go back to A4 pages for 2026 to have a bit more space. So I've got Georgia and Kirsty in A4. Anybody else not on 12 by 12, or is everybody 12 by 12? Let's see. All right, and we got that. Joanne has never re-inked her ink pads. I don't do it very often because and most of my oxides have never been re-inked. It's only chip sapphire and spun sugar. And spun sugar, let's be honest, it's because it's such a pale color that you have to put a lot onto the page to make it work so that you can actually see it. Yeah, so that's why. What have I done there? That's okay. All right, no ink on my hands before I go on, just checking. Now, small and scrappy is also A4, yes. Okay, so now let's find things that we can add in to match the colors. Stapler is here. So I'm going to put this one up here. Don't have to staple it if you don't want to, but I like it. Okay. Then sticker sheet. What have we got in these colors? Because I'm doing quite all right using this sticker sheet up, which means I don't have a lot. We got a yellow heart. No, that looks too pointy. Let's put it on the photo there. And then in the coral, I've got that big ticket, or I've got this tab. Let's do that. Debbie loves 12 by 12. So does Joanne. Yes. Jolene is a 12 by 12 kind of girl. Me too. Oh, I've got both of those on the left-hand side, so maybe I put this one on the left too. Kelly's 12 by 12, but a mix of page protectors. So she's got some Project Life pockets in there, some 8 by 10, some 6 by 8. I love that. All right, then can have something like this. And a yellow, but I don't have a coral. I've got those two tiny little points out of this mat. Okay, let's ink that one. Georgia has 6 more 12 by 12s to complete her niece's album, and it feels quite fun to do a different size and quite free knowing they aren't her layout, so she can do whatever and not be quite so precious, which is funny. I think we scrapbookers come into 2 different camps when they're scrapbooking like gifts and things for other people, that either you're like, oh, this is free because it won't be in my album, so I can try things that I wouldn't try in my own album. Or you're more nervous because you're going to give it away. And so then you're like, oh, I'm only going to do the things I know I can really do well because it's going to somebody else. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so I think we do bring in that ticket stub now. Put that up there. Maybe we tuck it with the photo. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and start getting these pictures in place. What are our thoughts so far with the superheroes and flowers? Georgia says, it's an album for a 6-year-old. She's going to love it no matter what. That is very true. It's very cool. I'm looking, can I make the gaps pretty similar? Yes, but I think I would like them closer together. Let's move them over a little bit. Yep, I like that better. Okay. Right, and that one's staying there. Now, in these die cuts, and I need to put in my title. Title's gonna run down here. So let's figure that out. What are we doing for 3 generations of Superman? Oh, should we do something like it's a bird, it's a plane? Yeah? What's that? Oh. I thought he had an appropriate title suggestion, but it was a silly one. Okay. Let's see. How big are these? And that's a lot to spell. Hello, Sophia. What are you teaching for art today? Nikki has a friend who has their birthday in November, and she offered to send them a pack of handmade cards. I was more worried making those cards than the cards she wanted to send out herself. Yep. Okay, it's a bird, it's a plane, and then something else. So do I need smaller letters for that? I can't, like, you only get one S. So I could do it's a, can I do even it's a bird? Because no, there's only one I. Okay. Super grand. Art class for Sophia starts in 3 minutes, but she's going to keep me on in the background. Today they are doing drawing and copying of some Ian McHugh flying ships, the Mile High ships, which are so cool. That sounds very fun indeed. I got a little call from the dressing room last night while WB was on standby that he was writing a play. And could I listen to the beginning of it? He's writing a play about a Christmas tree that saves the world. Yeah. I'm not sure about this one being so high up. It might need to come down closer. Or, for right now, I'll leave it. On second thought. Okay. I think I need more kinds of lettering. Ah, but I could use these from... I can always use these. Where's the other side? There they are. Okay. Because these are in our big packet for the whole year. Packet? Bundle? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I think then I can use these. All right. Let's just see how much room It's a Bird takes up. I know I'm stuck on this idea now, but because I am of the right age that It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's a fill in the blank was totally part of my household vocabulary. I have probably heard my mother say that with 100 different things in the blank over my childhood. So it just feels very apt for this page being multi-generations. don't have super fast sticker mode, because if you're scrapping along, you're going to take this long too. If you're watching the replay, you can put me on 2x speed though. And then I talk really fast, which is fun. I'm curious, people in the live chat, do you ever consume any sort of media on 2x speed? I find it's one of those things you're either like, this is amazing, or, oh my goodness, no, never. All right, so we've got It's a Bird in that lettering style. And then, oh, has my family been quoting it wrong my whole life? Okay, Georgia is definitely a 2x speed watcher. Deidre thinks I've got the quote wrong. Let's see. Okay. No, okay. There's even a whole musical called It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman. So if the line is, what is the saying? Is it a bird, it's a plane? I think they may have used it more than once. Okay. We're definitely cool. I think you could be cool either way. I wonder which one is which. Ha ha, here we go. So the original TV show used Is It a Bird? There we go. By the 60s, it was It's a Bird, It's a Plane. The more you know. So we've got both. It's fine. No, but I think I need, actually, I could go this in the middle. Annoyingly, the holographic is so not the best match. And strangely enough, I didn't do Is It a Plane in the phrases. I know, we're all disappointed. Okay, so let's see if I can get, oh, actually, I have the coral color. So let's do that. Okay. Da, 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 da. Got a little apostrophe down here. So this is the color vibe in bold. Red, navy, yellow, a blue, green, coral, and olive. All right. These are so much harder to place because the sticker stock is lighter and they don't want to straighten up. Like that A is skew if and it's going to wind me up. Dun, dun, dun. Right. So, random rubbish today. Sunday in the Park with George. My entire algorithm this week is Sunday in the Park with George, and I have no complaints. I am very curious as to how it's all going to play out. So, the backstory here. Ariana Grande and Jonathan Bailey, a.k.a. Galinda and Fiyero from the Wicked movies. But, you know, they both have careers outside of those two films. Are going to do a Sondheim musical called Sunday in the Park with George at the Barbican when it reopens after its refurbishment. That is such a color match that it's hard to read. Does it look like absolutely nothing on the screen? I can just see it here, which normally means, I don't know, it's pretty accurate on screen. Okay. Yeah, so they're going to do this show at the Barbican when it reopens, summer 2027. But the Barbican is a theater. Not a small theater, but, you know, a theater. Ariana Grande sells out arenas and crashes systems in 5 seconds. So how are we going to cope with this? I don't know. But here's the really funny thing. They have chosen, or someone in the production things that makes things happen, have chosen probably the least accessible musical in Sondheim. No, not the least accessible. Frogs is wacky and weird. Assassins is pretty hardcore, but I don't think it's inaccessible. But Sunday in the Park with George is an entire musical, like, inspired by one painting. And it's not light. It's not poppy. It's quite complicated. Will I be able to get tickets? Will they cost an absolute mortgage payment? Will loads of people who would book an arena tour suddenly go to see a really complicated Sondheim play? I don't know. So apparently the ticket sales are going to be happening in spring. Will I try? Yes. May I try and fail? Also, possibly yes. But let's think positive. I'm going to manifest that I can get a couple of tickets to see Sunday in the Park with George, because it's a show that's never done. So I would want to see it even if it wasn't them. But yeah. All right. Now, do I do like It's a Super Family? I don't like that when I said it out loud. As soon as I said it out loud, now I don't like it. I kind of want to do something like It's Super Silly. That sounds more like his reaction to when I send him these pictures. He's always like, you are the silliest mom in the world. So let's do that. Okay. Now. It's still just It's okay. So I was going back to the musical one since I started with that version. Okay. Where's my chat gone? Here. Is the chat stalled out? Do we still have live chat? Are you all busy scrapping and doing other things in your lives? Okay. I'm wondering if I can warm up to the holographic letters by putting some other holographic pieces in. So let's leave this for a second. Let's bring in some stars and see if that's going to help. So if we did a star there, and a star there, and a star where? Here. Okay. And let me have enamel dots and see how that's going to work too before I do my last bit of titling. we'll do a set of 3 in navy. This is a terrible choice, Shimelle, because you don't have the coral. A set of 3 in the yellow, but I've used all the coral. So it needs to be here, but I need to get it from an Altenew set instead. What kind of match might I have? Does anything in this one come close? Yeah. It'll work. Oh, George is not chatting because work is ruining her viewing. So annoying. Right. Okay, I'm going to use all the S's in one go. But we can do it. Okay, I'm going to spell it backwards. I don't love the trying to find it on 2 sheets. S, R, okay, and the it's. Okay. Now, would I have put the holographic stuff with this paper from the beginning? No, I would not. Although it does feel quite superhero-y to me, so that part I'm okay with. Now, do we have opinions on, am I allowed to bring in something that's from this collection but not in the kit? So I have more flowers that match this. But they were just about sold out when the kit went live, so I couldn't put this in the kit, but I bought one for me. So we could have one in that color. Plus a little one. That is not that color. That kind of works. The yellow is huge. I need smaller. This one is the right style and a better size. This color is the hardest one to find. I wanted like that, and it basically just doesn't appear much because it's the detail line here. Is that flower here? That flower is here. Okay, so let's take that one away. We can have a little one. If I can find a little yellow one, then we are all good to go. Kelly says, use that stash. Oh, yes. Hold on. Sometimes I'm looking for something that doesn't exist. Is there a little yellow? Yes. Okay. I found one on the package. So there is one. Let's find it. That's the medium yellow. Where's that thread come from? There it is. There's the yellow. Okay. Back you go. Lovely, Sophia. Enjoy your art lesson today. All right. So I'm going to work these in. This one's a maybe. Let's ink these. All right. And here. Oh, Jean's falling asleep. See you next week, Jean. Have a good one. All right, let's work out where we can then put these in each one. She says, boldly just putting the adhesive on and figuring it out as she goes. One there. I like it better on that angle. Let's take it off the page there. Which then gives us a balance to say, yes, it's fine to take this one off the page over here. Okay, then we'll do, now I've got this little open space here between the flowers that are printed and the flowers that I've added. So we'll do that there. There's a little gap here. I can go here or here. I think I'm going to go here because the yellow is going to need to go in here because there's not anywhere else. Oh, actually, so we could go there. No, it feels too separate. Let's bring it closer. Okay. Trim these two. And let's bring in that silvery stuff we used. Now, did I write down which one I ended up liking in the end? No. I'd have to go back to the video. I think it's this one, though. Was it this one that I was quite happy with in the end and surprisingly happy with? So let's make sure it's all mixed up. Okay, so we got some silver sparkle in that corner. Yeah, let's keep it in the corners. Right, then pen. Did I need to think of that in advance? Yes. Whoops. I should have done December 25 to January 26 because this one is, these two are December, this one is January. But I didn't think of that. I wrote December, January, and then I'm like, oh, 25, 26. We know what it means. Is it the best way I could have done it? Probably not, but it will not matter. It's fine. Okay. Now, and I wanted, this says name, number, instructor. That's not going to work, so I'm just going to use, I want to write Cardiff here, that's fine. And then maybe put the tour name up here. Okay. And this could be the stop number. This is his, it's the second stop that I've done this. I'm going to leave the number blank for now. I need to think about that. I might just not put anything there. Okay, so then where is the journaling going to go? I'm going to write down here on the lines of the journaling paper. I just need to wait for the mist to dry. And then I think that's it. What do you think? Is it too floral for superheroes, or does it end up working? Now, obviously, you do not need superheroes for this. You need 3 photos that you could put in a row. And then your title can be anything that actually fits your story. It doesn't need to be superhero themed at all. But you can still do the same sort of thing. If the triangle stencil is not right for you, you can swap out another stencil, or you could just do ink splotches there, or watercolor blobs, or anything like that. You wouldn't need to do a whole bunch of triangle stencils. You could stay with a more floral theme and not bring in stars and triangles along with your flowers. So you can make it work for you. You could also do this on a ledger that doesn't have a print at the bottom, and then have freedom to use any old colors and motifs that you want to use because they're not already printed there. Any questions before we go? Sophia's like, dang it, I got to shove Spider-Man back in the cupboard. You can use superheroes with flowers. I totally do. It's all good. I remember there's a page that was like a moment for me when I realized, oh, I didn't realize that's odd. So I remember the page exactly. It has a lot of like a really bright Kelly green and some florals, and it's pictures of a very toddler WB on the playground in a panda jumper. And I scrapped it with these florals that I really liked, and people were like, oh, I wouldn't have put playground photos with flowers, and I wouldn't have put flowers when you've got the panda motif in the picture. And to me, flowers made lots of sense because the playground is in a park that's full of flowers. So even though they weren't in the picture, they made sense to me. Now, the superhero thing is not next to flowers. It's just, I'm quite happy to use flowers with anything. Georgia says, are we looking at monthly dividers today? Yes, that's what we're going to do next. So that was here, and then we're going to separate. So I need to grab the right supplies for this, which are in which spot? Dun, 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 dun. Good job, Shimelle. I think they're there behind the washing line. Is that it? Yes. Okay. So monthly dividers. For the past few years, I have used Simple Stories collections for this because they have had collections where it included, oh no, what have I done there? Oh, that's not the collection I thought it was either. Okay, no problem. Sorry, they have done these collections where it has cut aparts that have the months of the year. And then I would put that into my pockets to start each month. And I start each month on a divided 6x12 page protector that has a 4x6 at the top. And then, two 3x4s in the middle and a 4x6 at the bottom. So let me show you from last January what that looks like. This January? Yes, it is. if you need to go because this is me doing two things in one video, I'm not going to be offended or anything. Please don't worry. Okay, so this is what they have looked like last year and very similar in earlier years too. So a 4x6 top and bottom, 3x4 pockets in the middle, and it's like this. Now, when I first started doing this several years ago, you could buy this as a page protector. You cannot anymore. It's a 12x12 and I cut it. So there is that, but I think I'm going to keep doing the same thing. No collection did a printed January, February kind of thing this year. Now, there are printable versions, and if you want to do that, lots of people have pointed out quite rightly that Tracy Reed has a foundations pack that does all of that for the year. And if you're quite happy to print stuff, that would be great. Also, who saw the pug printable? So I've linked it in the description box today. While I was in Cardiff one morning, I did a little draw this in your style, which is where somebody puts a picture up and then says, take this picture and draw it in your style. And some will be quite similar, some will be completely different. But that's the whole thing. And they're really nice to use as like a sketching warm up. My hands were literally very cold that morning. I was like, oh, I'd quite like to sit here and draw something. I'll do something really quick. And I drew this little pug and then turned it into a journaling card. So those of you who are saying about doing printables, I'd love for you to have a look at that. And then I've got some other journaling card sketchy things to publish over the next week. And then in a week, we will do a little chat about what works and what doesn't in terms of what you'd like to see in printables. Cool? Okay, so that is what the monthly dividers have looked like. But now I need to make them just from Live the Dream. Okay, in we go. Now, I have the papery pack for Live the Dream, and I'd quite like to bring this into the monthly dividers, specifically these journaling papers. But I need to make sure that's going to work. I don't need the chipboard. I don't think I need any of that other stuff for this. Okay. A pug, P-U-G, not a pub. A specific type of pup, a pug. It's a pug, not a pub. Although pub-themed scrapbooking supplies does sound very much like a British thing waiting to happen. So what do I have here? Peach, green, turquoise, pink, blue, purple. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got enough large ones that I can make that happen. And then I've got this medium size. 1, 2, 3. So there's 2 of all of these, see? So I can repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have, these pieces are the same size, but don't give me any writing space. I'm looking for things that give me writing space so that I don't end up creating a plan where it can't write in anything from the month. Okay, but those all have writing space, and that does give me enough. Okay, so then maybe we also are going to bring in those. Let's keep those out for the moment. Okay. Now, they're not 4x6 size. They're going to take collaging, but I think we can make this work. So let's just pop those there for the moment. We've got all these medium size. We've got all these large. I think I don't want them to be a complete copy. I don't want 2 that are identical, so I want to mix and match these to these. So let's say with that peach one, I add a green, but with this peach one, I add gummy bears. Are you with me? This green gets a purple, but this green gets a pink. I've got more than 12 here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I think only, well, hold on. 5. So let's do 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think just take the purple ones out. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, because I think those are going to be the hardest for me to work with the writing. Okay, so then just need to pair them up separately. Now those, we can have pink and blue, we can have purple, looks fine there. Yellow, yellow. Okay. So that gives me then 12 in theory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so that's 1 for each month, right? And I can then go ahead and pop these into page protectors, and we could take one of these for each one too. So 1. So I'm basically making a little supply kit for each month's monthly dividers so that I'm not starting from scratch each time. I'm going to have something ready and waiting. Okay. So will these end up working? I think so. So let's match like, oh, actually quite like that together. Actually, these are working nice. Yeah, they're working quite nicely. I wasn't sure that this would work out, but I do like it. So how many more do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4 from the second sheet. Both greens up there. Whoop. I need 1 for that purple and 1 here. There. Okay. So now I have 12 months of these that I can then split up. So my funny little brain has gone, this has to be January because it's the first one you put down. So whatever we do, we're working with that one today. But then let's mix the rest up to get to the end. So I'll put a bit of red and green for December, and then we'll go backwards from there. November. October. September. August. Oh, oh, oh. Why is this confusing? July. June. April, March, February. Okay. I love that, Sarah. She says she set up monthly dividers like this last year. She had a plan and it meant she was super organized and actually completed a whole year with no holes to fill in. Yes. Okay. So that's all my other months in order. And then don't put it next year, boopers. That will be disaster. Okay, so these 3 are going into this month's. But that's funny because that's just 3 little bits of paper. We still got a lot to figure out. So we want to use the Reasons to Smile, not Reasons to Smile, the Live the Dream papers. So let's choose where we're starting. Oh, this is Reasons to Smile, not Live the Dream. Hold on, I've grabbed the wrong paper. Oh, it's mixed. What has happened there? Okay, this is Live the Dream, yes. So is this. Oh, did I just end up with 2 interlopers? You're from the wrong shelf. Okay. So where might we start? What's feeling most January here? Okay. I might use some of this like throughout the year. I kind of like that idea, that this one appears everywhere. So let's do 6 4x6s. Obviously, that's not enough for the whole year. You could do a 3x4 of one paper and put it in your whole album every month, because you would get 12. Okay. So if I do one of those with this, and then these go with the other months, I also want something that I'm going to be able to put my title on. So I'm thinking maybe we do one of these that's cut up through the whole month, whole year as well. So let's just take this corner for January and the rest can go throughout the year. Sometimes people say, why do you not show this every month? And because once I do it, I'm just repeating the same thing. So I always feel like it's really boring to watch because I'm just repeating. But having one of these each month then gives me a card that's nice and easy to put a title on so that I can stamp the word January and it be nice and visible. So that gives us enough to do, we're about halfway there. Okay. Then I think then we start moving in with that month's supplies to make it coordinate. So let's put this back on the shelf. And see see what we get. So if we have, this is the top left. And then we make this the bottom right. Maybe we make this the top. Let's see. So Georgia said, I was thinking I should choose a collection to use from the year, but I might want to use something themed instead for summer, autumn, Christmas. Yeah. So I do recommend don't lock yourself in so much that you can't change anything. So that's what I'm thinking. Like if I have enough that it gives me a start, that there's something that's similar every time, but then I can go to the supplies that I'm using that month and pull things from there as well. So for example, I have my 3x4 cards, and like, look, I've got a color match here. And you know, how many layouts do I need with a typewriter on it? But I like the art, so putting it in as an accent card is perfect. So I can do that. And I need one on this side. I think this one will match nicely with that. Now, in the months that we have background packs, using those background packs for filler is great as well. Because you might, like, I'm going to need something that goes behind this. So that might be, so these two are going to be photos. But I kind of like the idea of putting this in. So I put those together there. Two photos there. So I just need something else that comes down here. Which would be a great place for a background, but I don't have that this time. But I do have 4x6 cut aparts. Oh, that's a nice start to the year. Let's have that life captured because it's like an introduction to the year. Okay, photos there. Let's add a January to this and make a little collage there. We're all right, yeah? And I tend to pick these photos at the end of the month. Throughout the last couple years, I've tried to make one of them be a picture of me with WB and then pick something else either for the whole year or by the quarter because my albums tend to be roughly a quarter that could repeat here. So I've done a year of him eating dinner at the same place. And I did like an album of him with a random Lego build of the month and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, so let's ink this up and put it on here. And the camera paper at the top, I'll end up adding a journaling box to, but that's an end of the month kind of activity. So I don't need to do that right this second. And this is giving me a writing space as well. I'm going to layer the writing pieces here. Sarah is using an old collection a friend didn't want and gave her, the Life Captured from 2020 Simple Stories. That's a great collection for this sort of thing, for sure. And you got the whole thing. Amazing. So I'm going to layer these here. I've got a little tear in that one, but we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to cover it up. the paper in the papery pack, it's super thin. I'm going to do that. So I'll have a little bit of writing there, a little bit of writing here. Let's ink all the outside edges of these cards because that will make me happy. Kelly says she's ordered her yearly supplies and she's hoping it will arrive just as she finished last year's album. That would be perfect. What did you go with for your yearly supplies this time around? I'm just going to grab some letter stands to do the January, and then that will be as much as I do for right now. It'll be all plotted out but not complete because I will complete it at the end of each month when I have a feel for what the journaling would be for that month's summary. I'm sorry, the sun has come out right there. Okay, so let's just get some stamps and add a January to this. You could do it with stickers as well. It doesn't have to be stamps, of course. What might we want? I'm conscious that we could go with one alpha for the whole year, or we could change it up as we go. That did not have alphas at all. Here, what do we have? Alpha's the right size. That's what I'm after. Oh, this one could work. This one is great. Yeah. Do I remember what it is? Oh, it's going to be too wide. January is not going to fit in there. What am I thinking? And yes, you could do just Jan, but no. Smaller letters is what I need. Where would... There's a font that I can see in my head, and I'm trying to think if it's not in the place where I thought it was, where would it be? Good question. Here. Okay, we could use, I think I have 2 different styles in this, and that will work. All right. This one is even better. Okay. So I was thinking it could use that one, which is like a typewriter one, but this one is even better. This is a Hero Arts for Studio Calico back in the day. And it was just in the wrong section. That was the one I was looking for at the beginning. All right. Okay, little stamp block is here. And we better do this from the back. So these you layer, so you have a solid, which I'm going to do in color. Actually, I want to go the paler version. Let's have saltwater taffy rather than coral. And then you can do the outline over the top, which I really love. And January is so not a word I can be trusted to spell backwards, so let's write it down. Okay. It's not cheating. should have brought a cleaner out. This will work. Kelly is using Take Note for her yearly stuff. Excellent. And she's going to use that as her foundation, but add in seasonal things each month. She found some Ellie Studio that she needs to use up. She's in Canada, and ordering for everything has not been affordable. I get you there. Now, because I'm going to use that paper all the way through, I'm quite tempted to use the chip sapphire for the outline. Let's give it a try, knowing that I have backups. I can change this. If I don't like it in the end, it's going to be okay. So, we've got that background stamping, which is a little bit messy, kind of, not like super messy, but imperfect is what I'm going with. And remember, this I re-inked before, so was I thinking I was going to use it more now? No, this is still soaking in. I don't know how much you can see, but I think we can do it if I'm just nice and light-handed here. So what you then do is take your outline and stamp it over the top. And you can stamp the outline over the top in a dye ink as well if you want. But use a clear block so that you get it basically over the top. It's a good color match. But it doesn't need to be perfectly set, because I quite like it when the outline is offset from the solid a little bit, which makes it nice and forgiving. So it can be just right, but it doesn't have to be. Yay! Canadians are loving the store Nick Nook. Forgetting scrapping things within Canada, not having to worry about imports. Now, what is our trick for any time something looks like it doesn't belong? Our trick is to add more of it. So this stamping looks very different than anything else that I've put across here because we haven't added any lettering to any of that. So my best plan, if I want this to feel like it belongs, is to then repeat this somewhere across here. So maybe the title work on here or something on here also gets these same stamped letters. And then the more times it appears, the more it belongs. So don't get thrown off when you start to add something and you're like, oh, it doesn't go with everything else. You just haven't used it enough yet. Use it more and then it will go. So that's what I'm going to keep in mind. What it does mean is I need to make sure I don't lose that stamp set. Need to make sure I put it in a sensible place that I remember, not a sensible place that I forget, and we'll be all right. Noreen says she would need a stamp positioning tool to do this. I just look through, and I like it a little bit offset, so that helps. I did just, however, get a big splodge of blue ink on Maleficent, so let's sort that out. But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking for lettering. And then I could alternate or alter the color that's the solid based on what I get in each month's kind of setup of where it's everywhere. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so that I keep the blue for the outline because it matches the pattern paper that's going to be there every month, but the inside color here changes to whatever color is going to make sense there. I'm worried I'm going to get navy blue everywhere, so I'm going to wash my hands. I don't want chip sapphire ink on everything. As much as I love that color, I don't love it splotched where I don't want it. Okay. So that is my plan then for dividers this year, I believe. We have got, the front of it will look like this. Don't need this now, thank you. The front will have a photo here, a little bit of writing here, a little bit of writing or something there. Yeah. And then this card, which will have stuff added to it each month and get journaling. And this card will be there with a photo here. So the photos will be back to back and 2 3x4 cards will be back to back. And then I've already sorted out my little pieces from the papery pack that are going to get layered onto a card here. And these papers and these are coming from the supplies that I'm using that month. But if I don't have enough from any given month, then I could always fill that with more things from Live the Dream so that I can mix and match the supplies of that month with Live the Dream appearing throughout the whole year. And then I get my cameras all the way through too, which I love. Make sense? Okay, so we've got that plan, and I'll just keep chopping those 12x12 divided page pictures down to 6x12 to make that page at the beginning of each month. We've got this layout from today, and I'll be live again Monday at 1:30 p.m. right here. I'll see you then to do a starting point in a 12x12. Thanks so much. See you later.